Hello grade 9. Ang ituturo ko po sa inyo ay about characterizing and describing the roots of quadratic equations. Ito po ay napakasimple lang at madali, kaya makinig ng mabuti dahil ito po ay ipapaliwanag ko in Taglish. Ang ating first objective, at the end of the lesson, you can evaluate the expression b squared minus 4ac given the values of a, b, and c. Sunod, use the discriminant in characterizing the roots of quadratic equation. And last, kapag alam nyo na po yung objective a and b, you could appreciate the importance of discriminant. So, simulan po natin sa nature of the roots of quadratic equation. Roots of the quadratic equation can be imaginary number, equal, or two distinct roots. At ang values po ng discriminant ay malalaman natin using its formula, which is b squared minus 4ac. So, bibigyan ko po kayo ng tatlong example. So, simulan natin. Evaluate the expression using the equation of b squared minus 4ac, which is the discriminant, and given the values of a, b, and c. So, ang value po ng a ay positive 1, b is positive 5, c is positive 4. Substitute po natin siya sa discriminant or the equation. Since ang value po ng b is 5, kaya po siya naging 5 square. Minus 4, value of a is 1. So, ayun po siya. And the value of c is 4. Yan. Next one, ang sabi, you are going to square the, you are going to square 5. Ibig sabihin po nun, imumultiply natin siya ng 2 beses sa kanyang sarili, which is 5 times 5. Hindi po dapat 5 times 2. Kasi 5 times 2 ang ginawa nyo, ang magiging result ay mali. So, 5 times 5 is 25. Then, multiply muna natin si 1 and 4. So, i-rewrite lang po natin si negative 4 times 1 times 4 is positive 4. So, rewrite 25. So, negative 4 times 4, the result is negative 16. So, wag po natin kalimutan kapag nag-multiply ng magkaiba ang sign, the product is always negative. So, 25 minus 16, so the value is 9. So, ayun po. Next, number 2 example. Ganun pa rin po, given ang value ni A, B, and C. Nagkataon lang na ang values ni B and C ay negative. So, this time, kapag isa-substitute po natin siya sa discriminant, kailangan isasama natin yung negative sign. So, ang value po ni B is negative 2. Kaya, naging negative 2 raised to 2. Minus 4 times the value of A, which is positive 1, and value of C na negative 2. And, unahin natin yung nasa parentheses. Yan. So, negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Magiging positive po siya kasi yung negative sign nasa loob ng parentheses. So, included siya. And then, 1 times negative 2. So, that will be 4 times negative 2. Multiply natin. Negative 4 times negative 2. So, positive 8. And then, this time, since addition ng operation, i-add natin. 8 plus 4 is 12. So, ganun lang po siya kasimple. Sunod, third example. Values of A, B, and C. So, ang A natin ay 9, B is 0, 16 ang C. So, substitute natin sa discriminant. B square is 0. So, ayun po. Kaya siya 0 square. And then, 4 times the value of A na 9 and the value of C na 16. So, ayan. 0 times 0 is 0. So, 4 times, unahin natin yung naka-parenthesis. 9 times 16. So, yan po ay 144. And then, 0 times minus negative 4 times 144, that is 576. So, Next is, or the last step, we are going to get the difference between 0 and 576. Alam mo naman natin na imposible na bawasan ng 576 ang 0. Kaya, everything that is impossible is always negative. Kaya, ang final answer is negative 576. Diba? Napakadali lang. So, yan po ay, kumbaga sa exercise, warm up pa lang. Kasi, dyan po iikot ang ating discussion mamaya. Okay. So, sa palagay nyo, ano ba ang importance ng paggamit ng b square minus 4ac? So, ano ba to? So, malalaman nyo po yan mamaya. Ano ba yung importance niya? So, ang expression na kung saan b square minus 4ac, yan po ang tinatawag na quadratic equations discriminant. So, huwag kalilimutan ha, ang b square minus 4ac ay discriminant. And ano ba ang kahalagahan niya? Discriminant determines the nature of the roots of the quadratic equation. So, yun po ang importance. So, siya po ay ginagamit para malaman natin ang nature ng roots ng quadratic equation. So, ano ba yung nature of roots? So, actually, meron po tayong 4 na nature of roots. So, yun po yung ipapaliwanag ko mamaya. Simulan na natin. Ang nature of roots ng quadratic equation can be determined by using the discriminant. And, ito po ang isa sa pinaka-importanteng bagay na dapat nyong tandaan, ang quadratic formula. So, ang quadratic formula po natin ay negative b plus minus. Kaya po plus minus or plus and negative kasi kapag tayo ay nag-extract ng square root or roots ng quadratic equation, there are 2 possible results. Isang positive and negative roots. Ayan. The square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. So, ang radicand natin, yan, which is b square minus 4ac, ay huwag kalilimutan na yan ang tinatawag na discriminant. So, yan po yung kailangan natin para malaman kung ano ba ang nature of roots ng equation, ng quadratic equation. And, etong symbol naman na ito, kung maaalala nyo, yan naman po ang tinatawag na radical sign or the square root symbol. Okay? Simulan na natin. First example, x squared minus 2x plus 1. So, letter D, yan po ay symbol na ginagamit to indicate or para i-name natin ang discriminant. So, D means discriminant equals b square minus 4ac. Alam naman natin na ang equation ng discriminant ay b square minus 4ac. And, napaka-importante na alam natin kung sino ang value ng a, ng b, and ng c. So, the value of b is negative 2. Kaya, substitute natin, negative 2 raised to 2 minus 4. So, sabi ko nga kanina, yung priming natin kanina, yung panambungad na practice, ay dito natin siya magagamit. So, value of A is 1, and the value of C is positive 1. Then, evaluate. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Yun. 1 times 1. Product. So, negative 4 times 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, continue. Discriminant is equal to 4. So, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. So, at this point, 4 minus 4 is 0. So, ano nga ba ang kahalagahan? Paano natin malalaman ang nature of roots using the values of the discriminant? Since ang discriminant po natin ay equal to 0, ang ibig sabihin, ang roots daw po ng quadratic equation ay real, rational, and equal. So, ano ba yung real, rational, and equal? So, ito po ang proof natin. So, gamit ang same equations, example, alamin natin ang value ni A, ni B, and C. So, ayan. So, ang A ay 1, B negative 2, C is 1. Or the quadratic term is 1, the linear term is negative 2, and the constant term is 1. And gamitin natin ang quadratic formula and substitute. So, ayun. So, nagkataon po na ang ating the linear term is negative b. And the value of b is negative 2. So, yung negative b po dito, so, ito yung symbol niyang negative. At nagkataon na ang value po ni b is negative. So, isusulat po natin siya inside the parenthesis as negative 2. So, plus, minus. So, inside the radical. So, ito po yung magiging yan po yung magiging discriminant. So, b square. So, ang b square po natin ay negative 2. Ito. Raised to 2. And then, minus 4 times the value of a, which is 1. And then, the value of c, which is 1 over 2 times the value of a na 1. So, ganun po. Napaka-importante na alam natin i-substitute ng tama. Okay? Next, continue. Negative times negative, so it will become positive 2. Plus, minus, ayan, sa loob naman tayo. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Negative 4, 1 times 1 is 1. Over 2 times 1 is 2. So, ayun, di ba? Continue. 2 plus minus. So, radical ulit tayo. So, 4 times 1, ayun, minus 4 over 2. Okay? Simplify ulit natin. 2 plus minus. So, 4 minus 4. So, it is square root of 0 over 2. So, ililipat lang po natin sa next slide kasi siya. So, 2 plus minus 0, square root of 0 over 2. So, ano nga ba ang square root ng 0? Yan. So, square root of 0 is 0. Dahil 0 times 0 is still 0. Okay? Over 2. Ngayon, para makuha natin ang roots, diba? If you're going to extract the square root, meron tayong 2 possible roots. So, alamin natin ngayon ang value ng first root and second root. Paghiwalayin po natin. So, para hindi kayo malito, ang ating sign dito sa gitna kasi ay plus minus, 'di ba? So, paghihiwalayin po natin. So, dito yung plus natin, dito yung negative. So, ngayon, ang gawin po natin is find out ano ba yung magiging root. So, equals 2 plus 0 equals, over 2. Diyan muna tayo focus sa plus. 2 plus 0 is 2 over 2. Yan. Simplify. 2 over 2. So, the first root is 1. So, ayan po ang first root. So, tingnan naman natin ang second root. So, ang magiging sign naman po ay minus 0 over 2. Kasi kanina plus, 'di ba? Dalawa plus minus. So, dito sa kabila ang ginawa muna natin is minus. Plus. So, ayan, plus. Dito naman ay minus. Okay? So, 2 minus 0 is 2. 2 over 2 over 2. So, simplify. 2 over 2 is 1. So, kung mapapansin ninyo, ang first root and the second root ay equal. Ayan, pareho lang po sila. So, therefore, masasabi po natin na kapag ang discriminant ay equal kay 0, so, the roots are real. Pag sinabing real, so, natural number siya, rational, and equal. So, ayan, equal po. So, yun po ang ibig sabihin ng nature of root ng quadratic equation wherein the discriminant is equal to 0. O, diba? Madali lang. Next, kasunod naman po ay ang letter B, example. So, ayun. So, ganun po ulit ang gawin natin. Gamitin po ang equation ng discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. So, the value of b is negative 1. So, square it. Minus 4 times the value of a, which is 3. The value of c, which is negative 2. Yun. Then, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 3 times negative 2. So, negative 4 times negative 6. So, discriminant is equal to. So, unahin natin yung nakaparenthesis. So, negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24. So, ngayon, ang operation natin is addition. So, 1 plus 24 is 25. Kung mapapansin natin, ang discriminant natin this time is greater than 0 kasi ang 25 mas malaki po yan sa 0. So, kaya greater than 0. At the same time, 25 is also a perfect square. Ibig sabihin, if we're going to get the square root of 25, so, ang makukuha po natin is two possible roots. It's either positive or negative 5. So, ano mangyayari kapag ang discriminant ay greater than 0 and a perfect square? So, lagi pong tandaan, ang nature ng roots ay magiging real and unequal. So, tingnan natin kung totoo. Ayan. Pero bago yan, alamin muna natin ang ang real numbers, rational and equal. Of course. Pag sinabi pong real numbers, so this is a number na pwede nating i-represent sa number line in an infinite decimal expansion. So, ibig sabihin, pwede natin siyang malocate exactly or approximately within the number line. So, pero, ang real numbers po ay included yung rational and irrational. Ang pagkakaiba lang ng rational sa irrational, ang rational po ay kasama yung whole numbers, pwede ang integers, included ang negative and positive. So, ito yung whole, ito yung integers na may negative. Pag sinabi pong rational, it may be naka-fraction, ayan, pwede pong naka-decimal, pwede rin siyang repeating decimals. Ayan. Pero ang irrational, ito, yan yung tinatawag na imaginary number. Halimbawa, pi, square root of 2e. So, pag sinabing pi, hindi naman kasi natin makikita talaga yan dito sa number line. Pero, alam natin kung ano ang value ng pi. Tama ba? So, ang value ng pi is 3.16. So, bakit na-allocate ang pi dito sa number line? Kung pi lang, hindi talaga natin alam. Pero, since alam natin na 3.16 siya, so, ito po yung 1, 2, ito ang 2, ito ang 3. And approximately, kaya nandyan siya banda, ito, kasi yung 0.16, we're just going to approximate it na located siya dyan, lumagpas lang ng bahagya kay 3. So, ganun po. And then, square root of 2. Bakit ang square root of 2 ay nandito naman? Kasi, if you're going to get the value of a square root of 2, that is 1 point something. Kaya, located siya dyan sa, ito yung 0, ito yung 1. So, 1 point mga 25 or 24. So, ayun po. Pero kung hindi natin kukuhanin ang exact value, syempre, hindi natin siya malolocate dyan sa number line. So, ganun po yun. Okay? Lahat po ng hindi nakuha yung exact value, ang considered po yan as irrational. Ayan, ito po yung mga symbols lang. Ibig sabihin, they are just imaginary numbers. Nasa isip lang or hindi siya real. So, ganun po. Okay? Continue tayo. So, let us prove na kung saan kapag perfect square and ano pa ba yun? Greater than 0 ang discriminant is real and unequal daw. So, alamin natin ang value ni A, ni B, and ni C. Substitute natin sa quadratic formula. So, ang quadratic formula po natin, ayan na naman siya. So, substitute natin ng tama. Nagkataon po na ang value ng B is negative. So, lagi kong tandaan yung negative ni B ay kasama. So, magiging doble siya. Negative times value of B na negative 1. Ayun. Plus minus. So, negative B. Negative 1 raised to 2. The value of A na 3. Ayun ang value ng A. Value of C na negative 2. So, ayun po. Times 2. And the value of A na 3. So, ayun po. So, na-represent na po natin ng maayos. So, let's continue. Negative times negative is positive 1. So, ayan. Negative 1 times negative 1. So, that will be square root of positive 1. 3 times negative 2. So, 4 times negative 6 over 2 times 3 is positive 6. Tuloy natin. 1 plus minus the square root of 1. So, negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24 over 6. Okay? Simplify. 1 plus minus 1 plus 24 is the square root of 25 over 6. Okay? Next, continue natin dito. So, since ganito na po nangyari, alamin na natin kung ano ang square root ni 25. Since 25 is a perfect square, so the result is either positive or negative 5. And then over 6. So, para makuha natin ang first and second root, paghiwalayin natin. So, 1 plus 5 over 6. Ayan. So, doon muna tayo sa positive. So, 1 plus 5 is 6 over 6. Then, 6 over 6 is equal to 1. So, therefore, the first root is positive 1. Okay, alamin natin ang second root. So, 1 minus 5 over 6. So, ayan naman po siya. So, 1 minus 5. So, since impossible naman na bawasan ng 5 ang 6, so that will be negative. So, baliktarin na lang natin ang pagmaminus in a natural way para hindi kayo mahirapan. 5 minus 1 is 4. And, gamitin po natin yung sign ni 5 which is negative. Over 6. So, 4 and 6 is both divisible by 2. So, we have to reduce it. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So, the second root is equal to negative 2/3. So, kung mapapansin nyo, ang roots ay magkaiba. So, yun na po yung sinasabi kanina. If the discriminant is greater than 0 and a perfect square, then the nature of the root ay real. So, reals po yung number natin. Kasi yung 1 and negative 2/3 is a real number. At the same time, they are unequal. So, bakit naging unequal? Kasi, tingnan nyo, ang first root natin is 1. While the second root is negative 2/3. So, magkaiba po sila. So, yun po ang ibig sabihin ng nature of roots nung discriminant na greater than 0 at the same time a perfect square. Okay, di ba? Proceed na tayo sa pangatlo. Pero bago yan, so we have that reality versus illusions or perception versus reality. Ganun din po sa number. Yung tinatawag nating real number and the imaginary number. So the illusions and perception, siguro doon yun sa imaginary number or the irrational. Well, the reality, pasok doon yung rational numbers, the real numbers, ayun. Okay po. Third example tayo. So, discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, substitute. Value of b is negative 6 raised to 2 minus 4 times positive 1 times positive 7. Evaluate. Negative 6 times negative 6 is 36. So, 1 times 7, so negative 4 times 7. Evaluate ulit natin. 36 times, negative 4 times 7 is negative 28. So, the discriminant is positive 8. At this point, ang discriminant po natin is greater than 0. But, it is not a perfect square. Kasi ang 8 po ay not perfect. So, ang expect natin, kapag naman greater than 0 and not a perfect square, ang nature ng roots po ng quadratic equation ay real, irrational, and unequal. Ibig sabihin, a real number siya. Irrational, it can be, ano ba to? Meron siyang imaginary number or square roots, ano. At the same time, hindi din po equal ang roots. Okay, let's prove it. So, ayun. Ang values po ng A niya ay 1, B is 6, C is negative 7. So, hindi lang po siya. So, ayan. Ayun po siya. Now, let's substitute it to the quadratic equation. So, ayun po. So, negative times negative 6. Ayun. So, negative 6 raised to 2. 4 times 1 times 7 over 2 times the value of A. Evaluate natin. So, magiging positive 6 plus minus square root of positive 36 minus 4 times 1 times 7 is positive 7 over 2 times 1 is 2. Continue tayo. 6 plus minus square root of 36. Negative 4 times 7 is negative 28 over 2. Next, 6 plus minus square root of 36. Ayan, minus 28. So, 36 minus 28 po is 8 over 2. Ngayon, paano na ang square root ng 8? So, alamin natin ngayon. Actually, ang square root po ng 8 ay hindi, square root of 8 is not a perfect square. Ayan. So, hindi po siya perfect square. Ayan. And, ang factors po ng square root of 8 ay 4 and 4 times 2. So, ngayon, kapag ilalabas po natin or we're going to extract the square root of 4, so, yan po ay magiging 2. Ayan, square root of 4 is 2. At ang matitira po sa loob ng radical ay square root of 2. So, hindi siya lumabas. Ilalagay ko na lang. So, dapat po ito ay 2 the square root of 2 over 2. Ayun po. And then, kuhanin natin ang first root. So, ayun po. So, 6 plus 2 the square root of 2. Teka. Hindi siya sumama. So, 2 the square root of 2. Ayun po dapat. Over 2. So, 6 plus 2 is 8. So, whole numbers ha. Yung whole numbers natin. Ito, 6 plus 2 is 8. Kaya po yan naging 8. 8 the square root of 2. Kasama po siya square root of 2 over 2. Yan, over 2. So, 8 the square root of 2 over 2. So, since 8 and 2 is both divisible by each other, so, 8 divided by 2, so, yan po ay magiging 4. 4 the square root of 2. So, dapat po ang sagot natin dito is 4 the square root of 2. Ayan. Next, root. So, 6 minus 2 the square root of 2. So, 2 the square root of 2. Ayan. Over 2. So, 6 minus 2 is 4. So, isama po natin si square root of 2. Nagka-problema lang siya sa paglabas. Okay? And then, over 2. So, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So, hindi po siya 3. So, dapat ay 2. Hindi po yan 3 ha. Nang bumili natin. So, dapat po yan ay 1. Magiging 1 na ito. Yan. So, we have the second root. So, it will be 2. The square root of 2. So, kung mapapansin natin, kung mapapansin po natin, ang ating root, or the second root, ay lahat naka-radical. Okay? So, naka-radicals po siya. So, dahil dyan, okay, ilalabas lang po natin ito. So, the second root will be 2 the square root of 2. Dapat 2 the square root of 2. Ayan. So, naka-radicals po siya. So, dahil dyan, since the discriminant is d greater than 0 and not perfect square, so sabi kanina, always expect that the roots are real. Ayan, real naman siya. 4 and 2, real. Irrational. Bakit naging irrational? Kasi naka-radicals na po. Ayan, square root of 2, square root of 2. At the same time, unequal. So, magkaiba po ang 4 the square root of 2 and 2 the square root of 2. So, yun po ang third nature of roots. Okay? Next. So, let's have, ang kasunod na po natin ay ang fourth kind of nature of roots. So, ayan. Substitute lang po ulit natin. Ayan. So, ito po ang pinakamadali sa lahat. So, negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. So, 1 times 5. So, negative 4 times positive 5. Next. So, 16 minus 20. So, 16 minus 20 is negative 4. Kasi, it is impossible to take away 20 from 16. Now, since the discriminant is less than 0, then the nature of the root is not real and imaginary. Bakit naging not real? Ibig sabihin hindi totoo and imaginary. So, imaginary number. How come? So, ito po yung values ng quadratic, linear, and constant term. Substitute po natin sa quadratic equation. So, negative times negative 4 is negative. So, yan po ay magiging negative 16. Bakit lumaki? Yan. Negative times negative 4 is positive 4. And then, plus minus, negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. So, minus 4, 1 times 5 is 5. Over 2 times 1, which is 2. So, over 2 times 1 is 2. So, continue. 4 plus minus the square root of 16. Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20 over 2. Next, 4 plus minus 16 minus 20 is the square root, plus minus the square root of negative 4 over 2. Okay? So, paano na ngayon itong may negative? So, ano nga ba ang square root ng negative 4? Is there any value for negative square root of 4? So, ayan. Ito po ang tandaan. Sa square roots and negative sign, those negative, like negative 1, square root of negative 1 is already an imaginary number. Ayan po yung symbol niya. So, bakit naging imaginary number na yan? Kasi there is no such square root of negative 1. So, pwede po natin siyang i-represent as imaginary number. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, square root of negative 4 is already an example of imaginary number. Ayan. So, ano bang pagkakaiba ng square root of 25 sa square root of negative 25 at negative square root of 25? Ayan. Kapag square root of 25 positive, so automatic, ang roots niyan, it's either positive or negative 5. Ano? Pero kapag negative naman, nasa labas, positive ang sa loob, so ang magiging result po niyan is negative 5 or negative positive 5. So, evaluate na lang po yung sign. Pero, kapag nasa loob na ang negative, so, yan po ay example na ng imaginary number. Okay? So, ayun. Magiging imaginary number na siya. And then, kapag po, kukunin natin yung value. So, evaluate natin. Wala na siya. Ayan. So, square root of negative 4. Hence, that is, the discriminant is less than 0. Ibig sabihin po, ang ating roots are not real. Pag sinabing not real, hindi siya totoo. Or, imaginary number na siya. So, kaya po naging ganyan. So, there's no such value of square root of negative 4. So, wala po siya. And then, that is just an imaginary. So, wala na po tayong makukuha dyan. Okay? So, sana naintindihan po ninyo ang iba't ibang klase ng roots ng quadratic equation. So, that's all. Thank you very much and God bless.